Well, hello, good people and Eagle fans. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We're here in the Red Brick House kitchen, and we're trying to do better. Um, the funny thing in life is when you're buying food, so many foods that we buy that we don't think that there would be anything added to it have more sugar and things than you believe. And so one of the staples that you end up eating all the time, ketchup, is loaded with sugar. Now, we're kind of doing a paleo diet. What we're really trying to do is get away from processed foods and the sugar more than anything else. And so, um, what was it I made my barbecue sauce. I made some barbecue sauce and I used some regular ketchup, and my wife reminded me that using the ketchup really is not a good idea. So I've got a recipe that I'm going to try for the first time in making kind of a homemade paleo type ketchup. Okay, and what this has is it's actually pretty simple, but I'm going to markize it. When I say markize it, that means I'm going to change it just a little bit. What you do is you're actually using tomato paste. Okay, so I've got a good sized can of tomato paste, and we're going to put this along with about a quarter cup of water, and we're going to warm this up with the tomato paste to, because tomato paste, it's a paste. And so we want to dilute that some because, anticipation. Yeah, it's making me, yeah. How many of y'all remember that one? I know you remember that one. Okay. That was the old ketchup commercial. So I'm going to put that in, and I'm glad I got my wife here that'll be able to do a taste test. So what we're going to be putting in this is going to be interesting because there's all kinds of different recipes. Now, to help with the sweetness, we're going to use maple syrup. Maple syrup, this is some, I'm going to have to actually order some in a couple of months. They'll be up in Vermont tapping the trees and getting out maple syrup, which is literally, I think it's 25 gallons of the sugar water from the sap from the trees that it takes to make a gallon of maple syrup. And they basically put it in an evaporator that just cooks off the water, and all you're left with is syrup. And since it's all natural, it is paleo. So we're going to use that. That's going to be our sweetener for our ketchup. The recipe I saw calls for using apple cider vinegar, but I'm actually going to use balsamic vinegar because it's got a sweet taste to it. We're going to put some onion powder and some garlic powder in it, and I'm going to kick it up a little bit because I'm going to end up using some of the adobe paste from some sweet chipotle peppers. So that's going to give it a great taste. And you might ask me, now I think I've got a bigger can of tomato paste in here than what they're calling for. So I'm going to add a little bit more water because that's going to be a little too thick. And they say that this will last about a week to 2 weeks in the fridge. So you don't need to necessarily make too much of this. So we're going to warm this up, and then we're going to add the vinegar. We're going to add the maple syrup. And we're going to add our adobe paste. Let's take a look at it. Let's see if you can watch along right here. And like I said, this is, they called for like a 6 to 7 ounce. And I think I've got a 12 ounce. And you see that's really too thick. Although the vinegar, you want to put in about 3 teaspoons. And I don't measure everything. So this will change the color a little bit. It'll be a darker color. But I'm okay with that. Add some maple syrup. That'll give us our sweetness, natural sweetness. And I think I do need a little bit more aqua. adobe paste with a skinnier spoon. This will be a very, very spicier. Some onion powder. A little bit of Lowry's. You know I love my Lowry's. Seasoned salt. And we get the garlic powder in. And so I'm making this because I'm going to make a meatloaf tonight. And you need the ketchup on top of it to make a glaze. Okay. All right. Let's get a little taste test of this. A little more maple syrup. Unfortunately, tomato paste has a bitter taste to it. I'll put a little bit more vinegar in it for a kick. It looks like a dark ketchup. It looks like a ketchup that's been in your refrigerator past the code, and it starts turning brown. All right, let's try it again. Does it look like ketchup? It's a hint. It's a little bit more salt. And I think we got it. The maple syrup is counteracting the tartness of the tomato paste. And let me get my wife to taste it, baby. That's because of the chipotle in it.
We're waiting. I mean, the consistency is ketchup for sure.
It doesn't have you get the bitter taste because of the tomato paste that's in there.
Oh,
but
so it's tomato based. I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it's tomato. You still have to use
tomato paste.
Yeah, which doesn't have the sugar and stuff in it, and then it's got the maple syrup in it to give it sweetness. So you're saying it's not sweet enough?
It's not as sweet as ketchup, but you know I'm not a sweet mouth anyway.
Okay. Yes, you are. You're the sweetest mouth in town. I'll put a little bit more maple syrup in there.
I like that you're using maple syrup in it because it has antioxidants in it.
Yep. All right.
That is, it's very close. I wish you had done me like a blind test, but then one would be hot and one would be cold.
True. Now I put in chipotle adobe sauce in there just to give it a little bit of taste. Now that is sweet chipotle, but I think that's a great consistency right there. I know. Can I make you some French fries and try and dip it? All right, so we're going to be using this on our meatloaf.